This video is for anyone who has ever wondered if squirrels have thoughts, feelings, or moods. Back when I started caring about squirrels, something that I wanted answered but didn't know how to get an answer to was, do squirrels have feelings, thoughts, and or moods? And I Googled, and there was information like, oh, squirrels are really smart. They can find, I think it's 90% of the nuts that they bury. And that's cool. And it shows a certain level of intelligence, probably greater than many humans. It wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted to know if I put myself out there with the squirrels, was it going to be like caring about a cat? Or was it going to be like caring about a fly? And I didn't know, because they were so small and their heads were small. So I figured their brains are small. And I thought, what could really be held in that little walnut-sized brain, you know? But, you know, I want to make this video for anyone else who, like me, wanted some kind of assurance that there would be anything of value there, you know, more than just I gave it food and it ate it. You know, I mean, that's cool and it's nice to help animals survive, but I wanted there to be more. I can say all assuredness, there is so much more. And so this video is for anyone else who might be looking for answers like that and having a hard time finding them, like I did. So here we go. I'm going to give, it's been a couple of years with the squirrels, and I could surely come up with tons of stories, but I thought of some good examples, one of each. And one example happened today, and I took video of it, so I'll put that. Well, are they smart? Here's how smart they are. Here's one of the smartest things. There's so much I see that they're smart, but here was one of the smartest ones. And it shows caring. I had an event that I had to be hauled away by an ambulance, and Little Black Bear was a squirrel that I was very close with, and she lived in the front yard, and she saw them take me away. She saw the ambulance come. They had the doors open to the ambulance because they knew they were going to have to shove me in there. And then I protested vehemently because I have extreme motion sickness, which, by the way, after what they went through with me, they crammed me in there anyway. And I mean, I was protesting. I wasn't going to get in. And they were like, then you're, you know, going to die. You got to get in there and get to the hospital. But they would only put me in there on a bed backwards. And I knew that was only going to make things really worse. So I was protesting to the point of, I mean, I was resisting getting in there backwards, but to Little Black Bear, I probably just looked like I was protesting being taken away. I didn't have any options, so I got in there backwards. And like I said, they will probably never ignore someone again after what happened with me. But anyway, but they said it doesn't work any other way. The bed doesn't go any other way. I don't know what other option there was, but in any case, it was ugly. It was bad. I won't even go into that. So I was gone for 3 days because I couldn't get out of the hospital. And I was worried about the squirrels. Once I finally got better enough to where I could, I worried about the squirrels. And someone drove me home from the hospital, and Black Bear, oh man. So she used to wait for me, like alongside the driveway. Whenever I drive up, she'd get alongside the driveway and stand up and wait for me and look into the windshield, you know, look into the driver's side at me. Well, I got driven home from the hospital, and man, when she saw me coming up that driveway, when she saw the car coming up and she saw me through the windshield, she was so cool. She just stood, you know, alongside the driveway. She was so excited. When I got out of the car, man, we both went running at each other. It was like a scene from a love story. Like we were just running top speed. I still had my robe on, because when I had to go to the hospital, I couldn't change out of my pajamas or robe. They made me go that way. So I'm wearing a bathrobe after being gone for 3 days, just running at this squirrel. And it was just like, you could just hear like music, and it was amazing. Oh God, I still remember when we saw each other. It was just amazing. And so it was very emotional. Okay. So a week later, it was about a week later, I had to call a company out and for some work, and I was waiting for them up on the roof. So, because that's where the work was going on. So I was up on the roof, and I was just up there brushing leaves off the roof, I think is what I was doing, because that's what we all ended up doing. So I was brushing leaves off the roof. Black Bear had no problem with that. So she knew I was up there. She was out doing her thing, and I was up on the roof, and I was just kind of like, hey, Black Bear, and it was just kind of cool. I thought it was fun, like, to be looking down from the roof and whatever. Well, anyway, so the truck shows up that I called, the crew that I called, and a couple of guys get out, 2 guys, which is the same. Actually, there were more than however many paramedics there were. I think there were actually 3. But still, 3 guys had come out that one time and then shoved me into the ambulance against my will, according to what Black Bear would have perceived, and took me away for 3 days. And then when I came back, it was in another car that she didn't recognize with another person she didn't recognize, and it was like a miracle. It really was a miracle. I can't even believe I lived through that thing. But anyway, so now these 2 guys show up in this truck, and it's a long white truck. It looked like an ambulance, and they opened up the back doors. Well, I wasn't thinking anything about this fact. So they opened up the back doors because they took their own ladder out. They weren't going to come up my ladder. They needed to come up their own ladder. So they took their own ladder out and they put it up against the roof, against the roof, and they were coming up to come talk to me because I just said, hey, I'm up here. So, oh my God, Black Bear went nuts. Little Black Bear, she went shooting up a tree. When she saw them put their ladder up against, she knew that I had climbed up a ladder to get up on the roof. She went running up a tree and just started major alerting, doing her super loud alert. And I was telling her, Black Bear, it's fine, it's good. And then I realized what she was doing when I looked out and I saw their truck, and it looked exactly like the ambulance in that it was a very long, it was a long van, and it had the doors hanging open, and they had this ladder that they were taking out, which looked a lot like the bed, the metal bed that I got shoved on in the ambulance. And oh my gosh, she just went nuts. She would not stop. She wouldn't stop. The whole time they were up there, I was like, it's fine. She wouldn't stop. So then I got down. I came down the ladder and got down, and then I left them up there. And then she was fine. She was fine as long as I wasn't trapped on the roof with them. Like, so when I was up there alone, she had no problem. And I was yelling to her then, hey, Black Bear, and that was all good. When they came up with me, when they even put that ladder up and opened their doors on their truck, she went nuts. She thought they were going to take me away. I know it. So then when I came down and I showed her, look, I have free will. They're still up there. I'm down here. It's all good. Then she didn't alert anymore. So, yes, they are very smart. They're caring. So now, do they have moods? I can tell you, we're absolutely sure they have moods. Today, and their moods will, just like certain humans, their moods are like hair triggers sometimes. Hansi, I love Hansi, but my God, her temper. So tonight, we were on the deck, and it was pitch black out. It was like 8:15, and pitch black, and she's down there, and this is her eating time. This is like this is her time slot, because right now there's stuff going on, anyone who's been watching these videos, with hawks. So the squirrels are eating at staggered times so that they don't attract hawks. So, and plus they're eating after dark. So this is Hansi's time. Pippi already had her time with me this morning, and then Pippi took, I think, a few more little, nuts here and there. So she already had some time with me. Now Hansi's time is happening with me. Well, so she and I are on the deck, and Shy Gray Bedtail, which Hansi will tolerate, and because she needs to eat, and that's her only time slot. She eats once every 24 hours at night now. So I'm there with Shy Gray and Hansi. Everything's fine. Pippi decides she's going to come down and join the party. Oh my God. Hansi already has like kind of a low tolerance for Pippi, but oh my, I never saw her just boom, her mood just, so Hansi was totally chill, just eating nuts, looking out in the dark, but when Pippi came up on that deck and Hansi looked over and saw it was Pippi, boom, she started making like actually an alert sound, which it even freaked me out at first. I thought there was like an animal, and Shy Gray for sure. She thought there was like an animal that Hansi saw. So Shy Gray went running and cut her meal short tonight. And Hansi just chased Pippi like up a tree, down a tree, over to Pippi's tree and up Pippi's tree, like, you get out, this is my time, you know. And then Hansi came back and Pippi stayed. So a few things there, you know. Pippi knew that she was breaking the rules. She also knew that she had provoked Hansi's ire, which is not something anybody wants to do. And yeah, and then Hansi went back to being chill. As long as Pippi was back in her place and Hansi had her own, you know, time slot with me now, she was cool again. So everything was fine. So yes, squirrels have moods. And they're not like, when people think of a wild animal, they're not like wild animal moods. Like, so it's not like, oh no, Hansi's going crazy, so she's gonna go nuts on everyone around her. She doesn't on me, you know what I mean? She got angry at Pippi and she took it out on Pippi. Like, she didn't take it out on Shy Gray, she didn't take it out on me. Her anger was directed at one person, and that was who they're so much like humans. It's easy for me now to know this, but when I think back to 2 years ago, I had no idea. So I'm sharing this with people who might be looking for answers, and answers aren't out there because I looked. They do experiments with squirrels, but it's hard to find people that really relate to squirrels as like how somebody would relate to their cats or their dogs or whatever, and you get to know them, their personalities, which, by the way, obviously they all have personalities. Well, I say obviously now, I didn't used to know that. They do. They all have very individual personalities, and traits, habits. Squirrels have schedules just like humans do, like where you can know, like, based on time of day that you're seeing someone. Oh, you know, if you don't recognize them at first, you're like, oh, this is when so and so comes here. You know what I mean? They're like humans. They have routines. Okay, so now I will get into the last thing. So we talked about, are they smart? Yes. Do they have moods? Absolutely. and now the final thing I talked about is, do they have feelings? I got a video today that I feel like shows when I have moments with the squirrels, it's so hard to capture it on video because it's in the moment. And when you have a video in someone's face, whether it's a human or a squirrel, it removes a certain amount of the authenticity of the moment. So a lot of the real moments that we have are when the video is not on and we're not thinking about this camera, me or the squirrel, and we're able to look each other in the eye, and I'm not looking at a camera, you know, trying to see, is it capturing what I'm trying to capture. A motion light just went on. I'll be right back. So now, next, I will show what I feel like is a great show of emotion by Too Much. And anyone who's watched these videos, like, kind of wholeheartedly or whatever, knows that I have suspicions that Too Much is the reincarnation of Baby I made a deal with Baby when he died, that when he came back, he was dying here, and he was holding my finger, and we made a deal that when he came back as a squirrel here, the way he was to let me know was to and Baby Too Much, right out of the gate. The first thing he did when he met me, and I never met another squirrel to do this, I was sitting on the edge of the deck, and I had Pippi right here, and Too Much, and I didn't even know him yet, ran up behind me, ran up my back, pushed his legs off my neck, and then use that force to go halfway behind on the deck on me. And I was just like, and I just looked at Pippi and I go, oh my God, who is that? He is Too Much. And that's how his name got to be Too Much. And he started erring, and he's so much like Baby in a lot of ways, except for he is closer to me. Like, you know, he climbs my leg, he lets me pet him. That Baby didn't do that. But at the end, baby held my finger, so I always felt like if he came back, we would be closer. And Too Much and we just are. And so I'll put this video of what happened today that I thought was really cool. And I feel like it shows that they have emotions too. I don't know how to capture an essence in a video, but I wish I could. I wish I could capture and keep Too Much forever just by having him in this video. Right? Too much because we want to be together forever.